Hey guys, here's a tutorial on making this lid in SOLIDWORKS. So what I'm going to be doing is copying these drawings here, making the part in SOLIDWORKS, and then making drawings from that part. So let's get started. Okay, so here what I'm going to do is I'm going to start by making the overall shape. So I'll just dual screen this so that we can copy this part. And then this line here is going to be 34 according to the drawings. I'm just going to exit out of this drawing. It's a little scaled off and try again. And here's a neat feature with SOLIDWORKS that you might not know about. You can do math in the dimensions here. So what I'm doing is this dimension here and this dimension here, add them together, and then you get the overall height of this lid here. So I'm going to type in the rest, and then click enter, and then that gives us our overall height of the lid here. And then I'm going to set this point up right here. Okay, there we go. Next I'm going to draw this circle. And then again I'm using this math feature because what it's giving me in terms of what I'm putting in is the overall diameter, but in the dimensions I just have the radius, so I'm going to do times 2. And then I'm going to take this line here, And then there we go. I'm going to put this last line here, and then there's our final part here that we're going to do with features, revolve, and then OK. So there's our overall feature. What I'm going to do next is make the top of this part here. So I'm going to go into the front of the sketch. Do a line here. Actually, I've got a dimension for that line, so I'm going to punch in the dimension at the same time. That's 5.33. And then we know what this angle is here. So this line and that line need to connect. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to redo these lines here. There we go. So we've got this part now. And next what we're going to do is we're going to cut this shape out of the middle. So we go to this center point here. Turn this into a construction line. And then I'm going to turn this guy into a construction line. And this little guy over here is also going to be a construction line. So now we have this small shape in the corner here, and that's what I'm going to use to make this cut. So if we go to revolve to cut here, my axis is going to be this mark here. And then there we go, we have our overall shape here. Next what we need to do is, this is just a film of plastic. So we're going to go up to the shell feature here. And we know that it's 0.35. 0.35. And then I'll show the preview. That looks good. So there we go. So that's our overall body. Next what we're going to do is we're going to put this little drink spout here. So I'm going to go to top plane, make a sketch. For construction, might as well make it infinite. And then up here, there's this feature for a channel. slot, and then I'm going to use this one right here. Let's say 6, and then I'm going to make it 6 wide. That might be a little too much. Let's take this down to 10. Let's try 8. That looks pretty close. And then we'll go over to here, extrude cut. Since it's underneath, we need to extrude the other direction through all. And then there we go. There's our overall lid here. So I'll save this. And then next we'll move on to the overall cup body here. So if we do our front plane, I'll do a center line here. So down here, I'll get the details on this point right here. So if you remember from the last part, what I did is I took 2 measurements and then did some math. So it's going to be 7 mils plus 34.62. So that gives us our center point. Not quite ready to do this part yet. And then from the center point, we can put a circle here. And I'm going to do some more math. I'm going to take our number right here, that's our radius, but I have the diameter. I'm just going to click first, and then undo the math over here. So it's going to be this number minus this number, because this radius here is our outside. And let's make it 4 so that it's, let's make it the same. Okay, so there is our part there. That looks good. Next, what we'll do is we'll click on it, go down to the bottom here. This line I don't need for making the part, it's just for construction. And then using this offset tool here, let's say that the cup is 1/2 mil thick. I'm going to click this, reverse the direction, and then you'll see it gives us a thin feature here. And then we'll need to connect the bottom here, and then trim the top up here to make sure that the parts connect properly. And then there we go. There's our cup. I'm just going to put a dimension on this ring here so that we can come back and change it if we need to. Okay, let's make the cup. So this is going to be a really fat cup. So let's make it a little bit taller. And we can do that by using this line here, our reference line, and then let's make it a large cup. Sweet. So I'm going to save this one, and then we'll create an assembly from our parts here. So to create an assembly, what I'm going to do, go up to File here, click this assembly part, and then we don't need this anymore, so I'm just going to go full screen on this. Now, when you're doing an assembly, what you want to make sure is the first part that you put in is what everything else is going to refer to. So the first part, it's locked in and you can't move it, but you can move all the other parts. So I don't want to move the cup per se, because that's something that I'll put on a table, so I don't need to move it. So I'll click that in first, and then next what I'll do is I'll add in our lid here. So there's our lid, and then there's our cup. Next, for this mate, I'm going to select this outer ring here, and then I just need to select a ring here. I'm going to select that one, and then flip it, and then we have this lid that goes on top. Now, what we can do to see the inside of the cup is use this feature that allows us to cut stuff in half. So this feature, I forget what it's called, the section view, allows you to push in and out of a part and then see different aspects of it. So I'm just going to put this to 0 for now. So this is perfect cut. And then this will allow us to get a better idea of our mate here. So it looks like there's slightly different sizes here. So what we can do in the actual assembly is I'm going to make this circle smaller. So I'm going to click on our cup here, and then edit part. Save and continue, yes please. And then now you see that the lid is hidden, but the main body is there. So this allows me to just focus on the cup here. So I'm going to go down to the sketch, edit the sketch, and then I'm going to change this to, let's change it to 1 mil. So let's do small, what about 1.5? Now generally it's really important to have stuff that fits perfectly in SolidWorks. However, with a lid like this that's a snapshot, there's a little bit more play, but that you won't be able to simulate it the same as other parts. So that's good enough there. Now, we see that there's a little bit of room here. Although our math says otherwise, I'm going to move it out. So let's move it to 41.7. I'll bring this dimension right down here so I can see it. Now if this was not a lid, you want to make sure that the dimensions are exact. Okay, so next what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna close this sketch, unedit component, and then go back to our view over here, check things out, looks pretty good. And then I'm going to close this feature. There's our regular cup here. So from here, what I'm going to do is go to create some drawings. So make drawings from assembly. Okay, so I'm going to quickly delete all of this. There's a document that already exists. Okay, I'm just going to open my files quickly and delete that document. Okay, let's try this. And then I have a template for the industrial design. So I'm going to go into my files where I have, so this is my template here. In order to get the template that Gary gave us to work, you need to change these last these last letters of the file to these letters here. Otherwise, SolidWorks won't be able to open it as a template. I think I clicked it. Maybe not. Okay. And then here's our template here. Now, right now we have these parts here that are kind of in the way. So what I'm going to do is go to sheet format, edit, and then I'm going to delete those. In this area of the sheet, you're able to change some of the other settings. So this is how they would have actually created this document in the first place. So I'm going to close this now. And then up here, I'm going to go to the full cup, click refresh. And then referring back to our reference drawings to make them look somewhat the same, maybe. So we've got our main cup here, and there's a top view. So I'll take our top view, and we'll do section. Now, as you'll see, this lid is kind of cockeyed. So what I'm going to do is create this for now. And then I'm going to go edit this cup here. And you'll see that I'm going to do a mate here. Go to the lid here, and then mate this front plane to this front plane. And then now if we go and save this, open up our drawings here, you'll see that this is laid out the way that we want it. And then there's a section view. But first what I'm going to do is I'm going to blow stuff up, make it a little bit bigger. Now this isn't going to quite fit. Maybe it will. Sweet. Let's go with that. Next what we'll do is I'll do detail. And then stick the detail right here. That looks good. And then we also have a view right here, so we'll do that too. Refresh. Put in the isometric. And then to change the way that this looks, I'm going to change this setting down here so that there's some color to it. So there we go. We have our first drawing. I'm going to change these settings later. And you can simply change them by double-clicking or single-clicking. But I'll leave that for you guys to do. I'm going to create our next set of drawings. So down at the bottom here, there's an add sheet. I'm going to click on that. Now these things showed up again. So I'm going to, double clicking doesn't work. So I'm going to edit the sheet and then delete them. Close that. And then next what we're working on is just the lid. So it's the Starbucks lid. Click refresh. And then if we go over to our drawings here, here's our main part there. So we'll do our top view. And then we'll do a section view going across this. And then let's make this guy really big. So use custom. Now it's a lot larger. And then with our drawings, it shows a quick section view here. And it has these other dimensions. I'm going to leave out this one and just do the ISO and these other dimensions. So I'll put in the ISO first. There we go. Make it look pretty. Now for these other parts of the drawing, try not to add the prettiness factor to it, because that takes away some of the formality. But it all depends on who you're using the drawings for and who you're communicating to. And then from here, what I'll do is start throwing in dimensions. So from top to bottom. And I'm going to add a center mark for this radius here. So there's some quick rough dimensions. I'll quickly add this last guy right there. And then I do need theoretically a dimension for that, unless I do something like that, and then put the overall dimension on this part here. So we've got that dimension. Get those guys lined up. Move this guy down. And then there we go. So there's our dimensions. Could probably add dimensions for this guy down here, but I don't think they were added in this part here, so we'll leave those out. Next, what we'll move on to is our bill of materials. So going back to our first sketch here, I'm going to add in bill of materials. So to find that in annotation, you're going to go up to tables, and then right down here you see bill of materials. And generally it should go. Let's move this guy over. Sometimes you just need to save everything, and then it will work. Let's try this again. Okay, and then there's our bill of materials. I'm going to edit it, make it a little bit smaller. So squish these guys in. So there you have it. There's drawings for the cup and from an assembly, as well as your bill of materials and other fun features. So thanks for watching.